Still, the wizard went first, slowly cracking that creaking stairway door and ascending, always careful to check the corners. He kept the room lit somehow, all by the means of that tiny ember glowing at the very tip of his ivory dragon pipe. The little demon carved from elephant tusk seemed to have little globes of fire for his eyes now, and he peered around the room on their behalf, always watching the far corner, while the wizard's eyes were watching the other corner, rounding the staircase with Aziz poking out from the side of the wizard, crossbow at the ready. Tani, being reliable as always, watching their back, knife drawn, knuckles tightly wrapped. All three of them paused as they heard something much bigger sounding than whatever had drawn their attention upwards to begin with. The wizard looked at Aziz, who for some reason had thought that wearing an old-fashioned styled bird-face armored helmet was something of a good idea, even though the rest of him was wearing all but a cloth tunic and no shoes. His choice. He looked like some kind of wee militant little pigeon, not exactly striking terror into the hearts of men, but certainly nice to have someone who was armed with more than the forces of arcane wisdom and brass knuckles. And he had mostly just come along because he didn't want Tani and the wizard going alone. Or maybe he just didn't want to be the one stuck, sitting outside. I mean, think about it from Aziz's perspective. If they went in and got dragged into the darkness and eaten alive, that would just leave him sitting outside, alone again. Crawling around in here wasn't exactly his first choice, but Aziz was no coward, and Tani had been ready from the moment the wizard arrived. Now there weren't many things that got under Tani's skin, but parasites was definitely one of those things. Ooh, now hold on. Not under his skin at this exact moment, mind you. And thank the gods for that. Poor choice of words on my part. No time for that manner of double entendre. No, he just didn't like anything that looked at a human being as a free meal, a source of cheap replenishing blood, or something to latch onto and suck on for a living snack. The same reason for which he avoided the gibbering, worthless politicos in the town square. Now, that lot was a right bunch of useless dreck. He'd rather deal with this centipede business, and as if on cue, one of two remaining little abominations appeared right at the top of the stairs, creeping up all slow and confident, like the ugly little creature now owned the place. And not to get all brass tacks and figures at a time like this, but maybe he did. Everything higher up in this shoddy old whorehouse seemed to turn more of a sickly green by the second floor. And there were three that needed to be checked and cleared. But the only thing missing from this, now land-owning centipede, was a red smoking jacket and a fez to complete the look. It seemed to acknowledge them for a second, all haughty and segmented from atop the second floor, regarding them while chittering and mincing with its two ugly forward-facing mandibles, as if to say,
"Gentlemen, I'm sure you're wondering why I've called you here this evening. Come."
Then turning and gliding down the hallway with a gruesome little chittering sound, barely any indication of a face, just mandibles and big black eyes on a round, shiny dome of a head, strolling away, leading them down the hall, and the party followed, not because they were invited by this ugly, chittering critter, but because they were already going that way. Tani looked a bit apprehensive, but was given some grit by the fact that the wizard looked more disgusted and annoyed than concerned and uncertain, and well, Aziz just looked like an armored pigeon in the shape of a scrappy boy. But at this hour, who else are you going to call on? This isn't the work for a necromancer, not with the lady of the house this far gone. And topping the stairs, there were two more dead bodies and a circle drawn on the floor. And it was all very foreboding and filled with dread, smacked of devilry and doom. And it was clear now to all three that they were indeed in for a late night of the old slum and skullduggery. What now with the occult being involved amidst these already strange goings-on?